2022. Thanks everyone for coming. It's good to see everyone. Good to see that you're taking advantage of the removal of the mask mandate. But masks are always welcome anytime you want to use them. Margot, take it away.
Okay, with that, I will take another roll call. Councilwoman Cotton.
Present.
Councilman Foster.
Here.
Councilman Iannicone.
Here.
Councilman Mayer.
Here.
Councilman Silva.
Present.
Councilman Umbriak.
Here.
Council President Armington.
Here.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
Wonderful. All right, we will move into a moment of silence. Followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, please be aware that public comment during the public hearing portions of this meeting will be held both in person and through the Zoom app. At the appropriate time, members of the public wishing to speak should indicate so by raising his or her hand in chambers or in the app. To comment via Zoom, click on the raise your hand icon at the bottom left side of your screen. You may also raise your hand by pressing *9 on your phone. When it is your turn, the moderator will send a signal through the app and ask that you unmute yourself so that you may be heard. To unmute yourself on the phone, press *6. There are 4 items on the consent agenda this evening. Due to absence, I have split them in 2. So I would ask for a motion to approve consent agenda items 1 and 4.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda items number 1 and 4.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster.
Yes.
Councilman Iannicone.
Yes.
Councilman Mayer.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Councilman Umbriak.
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
1 and 4 are adopted. You were absent for 2 and 3? On the adoption of consent agenda items 2 and 3, Councilwoman Cotton.
Abstain.
Councilman Foster.
Yes.
Councilman Iannicone.
Yes.
Councilman Mayer.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Councilman Umbriak.
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Did I need to make a motion to approve 1 and 2 and 3?
Oh, did you not?
I did. Well, I did. I'll make a motion to approve 2 and 3.
Oh, excuse me.
I'll second.
I'm sorry. Do I have to retake the vote, or is it?
No, I think we're all right. We're okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, I will open the floor for public hearing on any matter. For remote members of the public,
Excuse me, Council President.
Yes.
Having technical difficulties, I would ask for a quick recess so I can restart the Zoom meeting online, because I can't see the attendees for public comment.
Okay, we'll go into a quick recess for technical difficulties.
Okay, those of you participating on Zoom, I'm going to restart the meeting, so please rejoin. Thank you.
Recording in progress.
so, but I don't do the politics anymore.
Yay. Slow.
That 17 to 7.
I still wear some glasses. If you wear glasses,
Yeah,
usually
it's challenging.
Come back. You should just get rid of that.
United from Newark to Bogota. Direct. 5.5 hours, almost. Yes. But from there to the north, it's 1 hour flight.
Look, I'm not.
have you been to Cartagena
Never.
before?
Yeah.
There's a woman that I work with that's from Cartagena.
Guys, an old guy.
Margot. Can you grab Michael?
Text him.
Just letting you know I have to switch computers. Okay. So I'm just gonna swap.
Adapter, yeah. This one, okay. Switch it, okay. So you're gonna run the meeting off this one?
I'm going to try, because this one keeps telling me I have an insecure internet connection, and I can't see the attendees.
This doesn't work.
Do you have to do that? You know what that is?
Okay.
Pages to swipe through.
It's too much.
I got it.
I told her what you said, though, too. I
You
said,
still
yes.
working from home or you working?
I go to the office like 3 or 4 days a week.
Oh, okay.
Change of scenery.
I would recommend that we proceed.
Yeah, it's public.
If it's some type of technical failures. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd it go last Thursday?
Yeah.
It was last Thursday.
Your redistricting?
Good.
Actually, Jillian, she came and she presented.
Oh, okay. It went okay, though,
But
as
it-
planned?
Oh, it was 2 minutes. It was probably the easiest and best prepared they'd seen.
Good.
Yeah, I was glad.
That's what you do. Pass it on. It's only one glitch. You've had no problems. You've been good.
I haven't had any problems.
Just so you know, Jillian,
Just show me what it says, so I can see if there's something.
the council president will move forward with the technical difficulties. We can't get on. He's ready to move forward. Okay?
Okay, well then, there just won't be a hybrid.
There won't be hybrid.
Okay, so it looks like we're having technical.
Wait.
Let Michael get back to
Okay.
the control.
Sorry.
Technical difficulty.
Yeah, what-
I mean, I can log in, the people will be able to hear, but I won't be able to do public comment.
I think that's better than nothing.
Exactly.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
With the
Council President, it's my
with the
recommendation to
explanation.
proceed even without the virtual option.
Okay.
The meeting was noticed both as a in-person and virtual. We have a technical difficulty, there's nothing we can do. It's my recommendation that we proceed with the in-person meeting. And we can certainly advise anyone who's watching that they can hear currently, right? Is that correct?
They will as soon as I start.
They will hear to advise them that we're not going to be able to accept public comment.
Okay.
If they'd like to appear in person, they can.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm getting ready to start the
so
meeting.
we'll wait till.
Recording in progress.
Can you just explain that to, or Margot, if you can explain to the public that's online, there are technical difficulties and that they're not going to be able to call in to.
Okay. I was making the announcement that we were beginning with the public hearing, both online via Zoom and in person. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, we will not be able to accept public comment via Zoom or via telephone. However, those members who are on the call and wish to make comment, you are certainly welcome to come to Town Hall and do so in person. At this point, we will move forward with public comment with those present in chambers.
Council President, may I also, recommend that if anyone wants to email their comments, they can certainly do so, and they can be read at the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so with that, I guess we're opening up the public hearing portion for comments.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kristen Ace, and I'm here representing the Morristown Shade Tree Commission. First, I want to say thank you to the administration and to the
I'm
council.
sorry, Ms. Ace, could you please state your address for the
Oh, I'm
record?
sorry, 24 Franklin Street.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you to all of you for your constant support of the Shade Tree Commission. And a special thank you to Councilwoman Cotton, who is our liaison. Because there was, the ailanthus tree was brought up in the last council meeting, Councilwoman Cotton and I thought it would be a good idea if I came in and did a little announcement. Just kind of, there's a lot of information going on out there. Most of it is inaccurate. So I'm just going to tell you a couple of things to keep in mind that you can then, the people who are listening, and you can also spread in the town for us. The only way to kill an ailanthus tree is to, unfortunately, poison it first, let it die, which takes about a season, and then cut it to the ground. There are different methods of poisoning this tree, but we recommend an injection. It is the least environmentally toxic way to remove this tree. If you cut down an ailanthus tree before it is fully dead, you will get 5 to 10 more in its place. So that's just something to keep in mind in your yards. In terms of the public property, the Shade Tree Commission has this covered. We killed 90% of what was in the public right-of-way last year. We will continue on that process until we are completely done, or as done as we can be. And also, I want to remind everybody that spring is coming, which means that the spotted lanternfly eggs will be hatching. We would like to remind everybody not to panic. The bug is here. It's going to be here forever. The best way that we can mitigate the damage is to kill it, and the best way to kill it is right now. If you find the egg sacs, which are laid on any flat surface, so it's not just trees, we ask you to remove that, to squish them, or soak them in rubbing alcohol, wrap them in plastic, and throw them away. If you don't do that and you just scrape it, they'll just hatch wherever you lay them. We ask you not to spray your trees. That will not kill the eggs. They are in a protective coating. The coating is like a milky white gray, and it's raised, and you can actually see the tiny bumps of eggs when you look at it, so you'll know what you're looking at. So we have scrapers all over Town Hall if you would like one. If you don't have one, you can use a credit card. If you're confused about what it is, you can look it up online. There's lots of information. We ask that you go to vetted sites like Penn State. This is a lot of information. We have all of this information on our Shade Tree Commission page in the town website. And also, one more thing. we know that Council President Armington was joking at the last meeting about getting permission to cut down a town tree. We just want to remind the public that no one is allowed to touch a town tree. We have that well covered with the Shade Tree Commission, the arborist, the tree crew. I would encourage you to let everybody in town know that if there are tree questions or invasive questions, reach out to us. We are a highly educated, highly trained group of people that you guys are lucky to have to serve. We serve you, we serve the tree canopy. We are passionate and we are proud of what we do, and we're here to help. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kristen.
Well,
Oh, sorry. That's public comments. Oh, after?
let's wait to the end.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Your special favors. Yes, Mr. Burns.
Bitty, 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 bitty. Bitty, bitty, bitty. Late.
Good evening. My name is Bill Byrne, and I live 100 Franklin Street, Morristown. Well, you know what March is? It's Disability Awareness Month. And this is like vitally important, especially for people with intellectual disabilities. So I like to say that people with disabilities matter because, number one, they're a big part of the job market, number one, because a lot of them work in these different jobs, whether it be like hotel or housekeeping. A good buddy of mine worked at Morristown Hospital like forever since I known him, and he just retired like last year. But people with intellectual disabilities play a big role in the workforce. And number one, and I can back this up, that they make the best workers because they never take off, and you know, they don't say, oh, I'm sick and I don't feel like coming in. They're really reliable and do a good job. Because I'm one of those people with an intellectual disability. And I worked all my life and had different jobs. I worked over at Del Barton in the cafeteria. And they said I was one of the best workers. When I had to retire, you know, it was like really sad because I met a whole lot of people. But what I'm really saying is words hurt, and the word retarded is no more. Back in the day, I am the founder, and I led the charge in New Jersey to get all the ARCs around the state to change from Association of Retarded Citizens to the ARC. Not only that, I also went after the Knights of Columbus, which I'm a 4th degree knight, and got them to change all their aprons to take retarded children off. So I'm wearing this button, and it's called respect. It's, respect people with disabilities, because we also make really good neighbors in the community, and it's a proven fact. So I just thank you for hearing me, and I got some buttons here. So instead of wasting people's time, just pass them around. And I also got a pledge here. Can my good buddy Tim come up and help me read the pledge? Sure. I had the pleasure of going to the Awards.
state on a big one. Pretty wild. Can I put my name in it?
Sure.
All right. So the pledge is I, Timothy Doherty, pledge that I will not use the word retard or retarded. I understand that this is hurtful to people who have intellectual disabilities and people who love them. I will be careful with my words. I will also ask others not to use this word. And then it basically puts school, teacher, yourself onto a card. It's kind of cool. And Liz Nobility has been around a long time advocating for people with mental disabilities.
Thank you, Billy.
And when I tell you that there had to be 500 people at that awards luncheon.
Thank you.
And senators, there, state senators. It was pretty impressive that he had that word stricken out of state paper. We use that word often, you know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Billy.
It really.
Thank you,
it's a
Billy.
yeoman's job what he did. It really.
God bless you.
He did it. He really should be commended for that.
Yep.
And he was recognized by the state. He had the coolest three-piece suit on too. But if you ever get a chance to go to they have what do you call conferences that are
Thank you.
really informative, and I've been to a couple of those too. So
I already have. Yes, thank you.
With Mayor and Jerry.
We all got them, I think we got it,
No,
yep.
Jillian and Mayor need
Thank
it.
you.
well, I have one.
I have one as well.
I have a couple.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
So, thank you for hearing me, and just remember, words hurt. Thank you.
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
Billy.
Anyone else? No? We will close the public hearing portion and move on to council responses to public hearing comments. I'll start, and Kristen, yes, it was a joke, and I appreciate you bringing it up that it was a joke. I was thinking about for all the people that have Atlantis trees on private property, it'd be great if maybe you, Shade Tree Commission, could get out information about how they would, are there services, are there ways to inject them? How would I do that if I had one in my yard?
Do you want me to answer that?
No, I think I want you to answer that.
Christy, you have to come up to the mic.
We send out a flyer every year with a DPW recycle calendar. In that flyer this winter that we sent out, there's a blurb about the Atlantis tree and how to eradicate it, how to get rid of it. But I'm happy to do something bigger. We're happy to do whatever. I would love to have an announcement in front of the public if we could do that. Now that
So why don't we work with the administration
Okay.
on that? I think that's appropriate.
right.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So you said that we did 90% of the trees last season.
Correct.
We're doing more. Is that going to be an ongoing thing until we almost try to eradicate them as much as possible? Because obviously they grow back, or?
Right, that's our plan. So we treated 90%, 10% will come back. This year, we'll go back to the places we were, treat the ones that came back, and continue on the ones we missed. We did miss some, there was a lot to do. And I'm hoping that we don't have to keep doing this after 3 or 4 years. We should be set. The biggest issue is Speedwell Park, but that's something that I'm working with the administration on.
Thank you.
Don't
You're
go
welcome.
anywhere. I got a question while she's up here.
Sure.
Joro spider. Have you seen this?
Say again?
Spider, Joro. It's an Asian spider that is now blowing up on the East Coast.
No, but I'll look into it for
Yeah,
you.
I was wondering, the reason why, this is a very big spider. I mean, really big. And it is invading the East Coast from the south, and it will be in New Jersey.
Do you know what it attacks?
That's what I want to know.
Okay.
It's going to be in trees. It's different
Just
than
mayors.
a normal spider. No, the interesting thing is, will it attack things like, will it eat the eggs of?
The spotted
Is there a
lanternfly?
yeah? So I'd be
I'll
curious to
look
see
into it.
what they actually do. They actually have fangs. but they're too small to actually penetrate the human skin.
Okay.
But wait till you should Google these things is like, whoa. Yeah, he's got it.
What's the name?
They're like the size of your hand.
Yeah, they're huge.
What is the name?
Yeah,
Joro. J-O-R.
Yeah, it's from Asia. And
I'll
they
look
are
into
all
it.
over the South.
So it doesn't do anything to trees, do we know?
That's what I wanted you to look at.
I'll find out.
Yeah.
I'll find out. I'll get back to you this week.
Yeah, I don't know what it does. Maybe we won't have any insects on those trees anymore. Things are huge, huge.
Topic.
Check it out.
Maybe that's
Well-
something for the Environmental Commission.
Because of the way they web, and it's totally different. So
Okay.
it's these things all came from Asia. So it was interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, everything comes from Asia, right? Every beetle we get, every.
Thank you very much, Kristen.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen.
Any other comments to public or responses to public comment hearing comments?
Just one.
Go ahead.
Mr. Burns,
Oh, yes.
I must say that for all the years from I've known you, is many now, your ability to public speak has gotten so much better year after year after year, and you articulate yourself well, and we're a better community to have you in it. So thank you.
So with that, I will move on to report of mayor and town official. No, mayor's proclamation.
Yeah. Well, I see Mike and his wife are here, so we'll get Mike right up. Mike? Yes, sir. Come on up.
Oh, they're so cute.
Mayor, use the mic so they can hear you.
Oh, okay. Kind of face that way so I can get pictures of you. Come on. Did we do this right? There we go. Okay, good. I just want to make sure the photographer gets your picture.
Yeah, just by the time whatever you guys.
Yeah, you can take it right now. Here, Mike, you hold it.
That's perfect.
All right, there you go. All right, let me read this into the record, as we've done this several times. It's not a certificate, it's an actual proclamation, so this is in the history books of Morristown. So generations of Elmses, 100 years from now, hey, what did great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandpa do? And then they can look up. So let me read this into the record. Whereas on July 29, 2013, Councilman Elms was appointed to the unexpired seat of the town council that was subsequently elected to the town council on November 5th, 2013. Whereas Councilman Michael Elms is a 20-year resident of the town of Morristown and has remained a successful real estate agent with the Elm Street Group, Weicker Realtors, for the last 18 years. And over the last 9 years as a councilman, he has focused heavily on safety and quality of life issues, and was proponent of redevelopment, smart growth, affordable housing, and pedestrian safety. That's what, give Billy a look at that one. And he served as a liaison to the Morristown Partnership, and in that capacity championed the events and programs to support local business owners. And whereas Councilman Elms has been consistent and reliable member of the town council, his attention to detail has been contributing force to moving Morristown forward. Now therefore, I, Timothy P. Doherty, Mayor of the town of Morristown, hereby proclaim Tuesday, March 8th, 2022, as Michael Elms Day in the town of Morristown. Michael has devoted countless hours of service to the residents of our great community, and his presence on the town council will be greatly missed. Michael, thank you for your years of service.
Great to work with you here.
Great work with you.
Congratulations. Good to see you.
Oh, hi, good seeing you again.
That's right.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate everything. It was a wonderful 9 years, incredible experience. It was a pleasure. You know, some of you, Toshiba, Stefan, Mayor, I've been working with you guys since day one, and some of you guys just in the last couple of years. But it's a great feeling knowing that Morristown is in good hands with a great professional dedicated group of people. You guys care deeply for the town, and it's a very bright future ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a proclamation for the Women's History Day. Yeah, well, I know Councilman Mayor is doing the first women's.
New Jersey Women's
New Jersey
first.
Women's first. We'll read this in the record. I'm going to hand it off to her, and then she can have this at the event. Because I think it's an important thing, obviously, because it's International Women's Day today to boot. So congratulations to all the women, especially the women of Ukraine.
25%.
Yeah, who are there dealing with the invasion and war over in that country. We stand with them and keep them in our thoughts and prayers. Whereas the first Women's History Day was held in 1909 in New York City and commemorated a one-year anniversary of the garment workers' strike that saw 15,000 immigrant women marching through Lower Manhattan to protest their working conditions. In 1987, the march was declared Women's History Month by Congress after several women's organizations campaigned to recognize the role of women in American history. American women have played a unique role through the history of this nation by providing much of the volunteer labor force of this nation, and were particularly important in the establishment of early charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions in our nation. American women of every race, class, ethnic background have made historic contributions to growth and strength of our nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. They continue to play critical economic, cultural, and social roles in every sphere of life of this nation by constituting a significant portion of the labor force. Whereas women have provided invaluable service and leadership in American history and remained instrumental in moving our nation forward, and their contributions to our nation must be recognized, appreciated, and honored. Now, therefore, I, Timothy P. Doherty, Mayor of the Town of Morristown, do hereby proclaim March 2022 a Women's History Month and call upon the members of our community to observe Women's History Month with the appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Because let's face it, we're never going to be as successful without women, and we owe a great deal of gratitude to all that they have contributed to our way of life in our country. So on behalf of the town, would you please take this and present it at your award, at your event, the 19th?
So on March 19th, we're at 11 a.m. on the front steps of Town Hall, New Jersey Women First. We're having an event. It's with the League of Women Voters. Our own Jillian Barrick is one of our honored speakers. Mayor Doherty is going to be doing our welcoming remarks, and Leah Gassion from South and Pine, who's all over every TV show, is going to be our headline speaker. She was gracious enough to agree to that, and we have many other speakers. We have poetry reading and a dance group also coming. So it's going to be a full event honoring women who have just made a difference and who are first. Jillian is one of our honored speakers. So thank you.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Nice.
Okay, Wednesday, the 23rd of February, Morristown Education Foundation, 15th Annual Morristown on Stage, was at the MPAC, well attended. It was terrific. These guys are just amazing. These amateurs that get up there and sing and dance and do all kinds of things. It's just amazing the talent we have here in our community. Saturday, March 12th, for those who don't know it, guess what? 12th is Parade Day. And as far as details, there is a rain date of March 19th. Do not know. I have not heard from the parade committee. Have you heard from the parade committee? So we have not. The weather is iffy, but as it was once I was reminded a long time ago by one of the good gentlemen, I believe, of the Friendly Sons, we march for our Irish heritage, and a little bit of rain and a little bit of this and that won't preclude us from having a parade. But let's see how it goes. If we hear anything, we'll be first to announce it to the public to let them know. 5:30 on Saturday, March 12th. Queen of the World pageant is taking place at the Hyatt in Morristown and at several venues in Morristown this week. They were at the courthouse today, at the historic courthouse. They were with learning how to do Narcan with Hope One. The final for the pageant is at the Dragonetti Theater at College of County Morris in Randolph. Jersey Boys are the featured act. Tickets are sold at queenoftheworldpageant.com. So this is women from all over the world that are, and it was great that the Hyatt hosted it for the whole week. It's a really big pageant. As business administrators explained to me how it's actually a very big thing, these pageants. And the final is at 5:30 on Parade Day, the 12th. I'll be there. I know Senator Bucco, I believe, is one of the judges. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you want something to do, get a ticket and go to the pageant. It should be really cool. March 19th, 9 a.m. Whippany River Watershed Action Committee is hosting annual Whippany River cleanup at Bishop Nazarene Way. Volunteers are needed. Visit wrwac.org. Now, I've been there many times. They do a great job. Great volunteers come out. They really do a great job in cleaning up. Usually bring some coffee and donuts down. So thank you for the volunteers that are going to be there and those who have in the past. It's a really great thing that they clean up around the river. It's really good. Thank you to the Whippany Rivershed Committee. 11 a.m. in front of Town Hall on the 19th. I believe Councilwoman Sandy Mayer just announced it. League of Women Voters, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, and AAUW will host the New Jersey Women's First in honor of Women's History Month. For more information, you can go to League Women Voters, LWVMorrisArea.org. Right? Get that all out? Okay, good. So come on down. It should be good. Should be fun. You know, yeah, you get to hear Jillian speak. That's worth it. That's worth the price of admission, just right then and there. March 21st. Let's see if anybody can get this. GIGM. Oh, come on. One of the council members to say it. Monday, March 21st, 6 p.m. Growing Green is hosting their annual fundraiser, Spring into Action, at the Glenbrook Brewery at 95 Morris Street. Visit GIGM321.givesmart.com to register and buy tickets. We'll have that on our website so they can just, if you need to find it again. Great organization, Grow Green Morristown, fantastic organization. If you're not going, at least buy a ticket and support it. They're a great organization. They do a lot. Special mentions. Everybody know what Sunday is?
Daylight saving time.
Bam! Well, you guys are really on board. Clocks go ahead an hour. Spring forward, fall back. So don't forget, Sunday, March 13th, don't forget to set your clocks. And of course, what we've been talking about for 2 years, COVID information, testing locations, vaccinations, and boosters. You can visit townofmorristown.org/COVID-19. We have lifted the mask mandate inside Town Hall. However, it is your own preference to wear a mask. I do still wear a mask when I go into supermarkets, etc. It's up to you. It's still, I posted the other day, there were 11 positives in Morristown, and there's still people dying of COVID-19. So, just be smart and know that it's still there. It didn't completely go away. And I don't know if Councilman Iacone has any new information on COVID, but we still have to take it seriously, correct, Bob?
Definitely.
Okay, so I think that's it. Council President, thank you
Mayor.
very much for the long-winded speech. Okay.
Every other week, it's okay.
Sorry.
All right. Moving on to other presentations and reports, I believe we have Mr. Kennard, Keith Kennard from the Morristown Housing Authority. Come up, sir.
Hello.
Good to see you in
Welcome.
person.
I know.
Yeah, oh my God, it's actually Keith Kennard. Oh my God.
Well, I was asked to come here to talk a little bit about the Newark Housing Authority, and I think RAD, pre-conversion.
Yeah, Marcel.
I'm trying to get you back.
Start all over. Keith Kennard, Morristown Housing Authority, 31 Early Street. I was asked to talk a little bit about the Morristown Housing Authority, both pre and post-RAD conversion. A little, I think, also about the board and the existence of the board, post-conversion. So I can safely say we are well underway in terms of RAD conversion. We have already converted the 270 senior units, all three of the buildings, Ann Street and the two early streets buildings, and Manahan will be converted sometime this summer, around July, August, if we slip into that. Work is already underway, even though we're not, the general contractor is not deeply immersed in the construction yet. If you go to Ann Street, construction started on the windows at the beginning of last week, and all the windows are already, 95% are replaced already. So by, I think, Wednesday of this week, all the windows at Ann Street will be replaced. Contractor then moves inside, starts working on the lobbies, the resident lounge, community room, resident lounge, and it will filter out from there. There's also a relocation group on site at Ann Street. So there's a 24/7 relocation presence. The reason that is not because anyone's going to be relocated for any significant period of time. There are a few, because their units will be turned into ADA, handicap accessible units, requiring a little bit more work than the average unit. But for the most part, over 95% of the residents are only going to be relocated for a week to 2 weeks. They're going to go into a local hotel, moved by us, and paid for by the deal. But there are movers, there are relocation counselors, there's the whole 9 yards to make the experience as seamless as possible through the work. So once they actually move into the interior work, that's when that will kick off. What else can I tell you about the RAD conversion? Other than our next move will be 239 Early Street. At 39 Early Street, probably in about a month and a half, they will start the windows and the roofs. Then they'll do 31. And then they'll be, after that or during that time this summer, they'll really start working on the interior core of those particular buildings. In terms of the board, I think it's important to note that the Morristown Housing Authority isn't going anywhere. It can't go anywhere because RAD requires a public-private partnership between a for-profit and a nonprofit. Unless you're doing a RAD that doesn't involve tax credits, and that's typically for housing authorities that were built in the last 20, 30 years that don't require much work to their units. We are looking at anywhere between $110,000 to $135,000 per unit worth of work that will occur. So this is a significant investment using tax credits, private debt to get this all done. The board of the Housing Authority, as it currently stands, ultimately sits on top of the agency. We receive funds from HUD. HUD also regulates us, and that board really determines policy, oversees our budget, makes sure that they adopt the budget or comment on the budget. So we make changes. They look at what the auditor does, the financial audit report. They obviously review any legal recommendations from counsel. Their real role is policy-driven, financial-driven, legal-driven, and property management-driven, because they're also looking at all the statistics that come in on a monthly basis in terms of how we're managing the property. As we move post-RAD, essentially what we will have done is we will have shifted over from public housing to Section 8. So we're still governed by HUD. HUD still sits at the top, funds us, regulates us. The board is still there. The difference is the prong that we have that deals with property management and deals with maintenance is removed from us. That's privatized. The private developer actually handles that. We then, the Morristown Housing Authority, focuses on 3 other prongs. We receive all the money from HUD. So we are the recipient and the distributor of the funds. We oversee the property management company. We're the asset manager for them. And we also, I should say, 4-prong. We receive the funds for the Section 8 vouchers because there are privately run Section 8 vouchers that we currently have and we'll have in the future. And the 4th prong really is we'll provide social services, something we don't do now that we desperately need. to be honest with you. So we will have a small social service in-house staff. They'll partner with outside organizations so that our residents will get the maximum benefit in terms of social services, something that we need and we're looking forward to. But the board will still play a vital role in terms of passing our business on a monthly basis, passing resolutions. We can't enter into contracts without the board's approval. They'll be establishing policy. They'll be reviewing the management entities' work, and obviously the Section 8 department in terms of all the financial stuff that goes through there. I'm happy to take any questions that you might have, but that's essentially just to make everyone hopefully comfortable. The board's not going away.
I have a question. So the mandatory trainings that each of the commissioners do that actually allows them to be able to actually govern and handle the business.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Well, actually, I was asking you, would that, I know I put it in a
stay?
statement form, I'm sorry for saying like that.
okay.
But I meant to ask, so all of the trainings that they're required to do will help them with this?
Yes.
So no matter who, when you start looking at any of the candidates for this board, they will get this training that allows them to do this.
Prior to RAD, housing authorities across the country, and there's 3,000 housing authorities, some of them were Section 8 housing authorities, and some of them were Section 8 and public housing authorities, and some of them were only public housing authorities. Morristown was a public housing and Section 8 housing authority. Now you're seeing a major shift. Even the New York City Housing Authority is radding some 60,000 units as we speak. You're seeing a major shift to Section 8 only housing authorities. But even by doing that, if you have a training component like we do in New Jersey, it's still required for the board.
No, I think.
That was actually one of my questions as well. But in terms of the commissioner's role, as it's going through the RAD conversion, can you talk about, the role last year versus the role this year and moving forward in a commissioner?
Sure. Well, and the role last year and this year is still very similar, to be honest with you. I think the major difference is the staff is not directly linked to the housing authority in terms of the property management staff. But the roles, the board was never involved in the day-to-day last year and won't be involved in the day-to-day moving forward. The board is necessary in terms of, as I mentioned before, reviewing those budgets, reviewing the budget to actuals, the financials. Those things are critical. Passing our resolutions in terms of contracts, that's very, very critical. And really providing guidance and connectivity with the community, also very, very critical. Increasing our brand, hopefully our positive brand in the neighborhood, in the Morristown neighborhood. But those are primarily the role before. And afterwards, I think it's just that direct link to property management that's really disappearing. And we now will have 620 Section 8 vouchers versus 150. So that shifts kind of our financial structure quite a bit. It's a very, I think, somewhat intense in terms of sometimes the legal concepts that you guys reviewed last year moving forward. The financial concepts are important for board members. I think the neighborhood, again, connection in terms of the brand of the agency moving forward. But really those are, and also an understanding of property management, which we had on that board. We're always bringing all kinds of kind of deep dive information to the board on the property management side. Those are kind of the four pillars that will remain.
Keith, the appointment of the executive director, who has the power to appoint the executive director?
The board.
The board. And so so the property management company, post-RAD, does not appoint, the board is who appoints the executive director. Right. In your role as executive director, contractually, it's about the Housing Authority Board and the rights that board has, not the day-to-day operations of the property managers?
Correct.
So you're separate and apart now from the property management completely?
Well, I shouldn't, not entirely. So we still have an asset management function. So I'm kind of the go-between in terms of.
So what do you mean by asset management function?
So that property management company has to report their information up through me. I provide that information to the board. We still, in the contract, have the ability to hire and fire the asset management company. I mean, we could have to default them out if they're failing to perform in certain areas and provide them an opportunity to correct.
Did you mean asset management company, or did you mean the property management company, hire or fire?
The hire and fire the property management company.
You do have the ability to hire and fire the property management
Correct.
company? You do.
Right.
Can they approve a budget without the Morristown Housing Authority approval of that budget?
Their budget has to come up through me to the Housing Authority.
So they cannot pass a budget that's
No.
not approved by the Housing Authority?
Absolutely not, because we fund them entirely.
And you have power over the hiring and firing of the property management company?
Over the property management
Over the
company,
property
absolutely.
management company. And then, in terms of Section 8, just educate me on something. I know the purpose of the RAD is to convert over to Section 8 housing. Do you also oversee the other Section 8 housing in town? No.
Yes, we do.
You do. So
Yes.
it's all Section 8 housing, not just the Section 8 housing within the former Housing Authority properties. It's all the Section 8 housing.
That's correct.
So the enforcement of those rules and regulations and the priority on those lists is still with the Housing Authority?
Correct.
Okay. And then with reference to the protection of now that you have a property management company in there, which you can hire and fire, you basically have a say in terms of of protecting the tenant's rights.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm done.
Keith, can you speak a little bit about what was spoken at last meeting, creation of affordable housing? Because I asked the question, what was the role of the commissioners, similar to the question that Nathan asked. And one of the things that you mentioned was working towards the creation of more affordable housing. So can you speak a little bit about that? Because that's a very important topic.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's one of the things that we've been looking at. I know probably before I got here, but definitely since I got here, is the need for new affordable housing. Our wait lists are significant. They've been significant, and we cannot address any large or significant amount of the people who need housing. And that's just not a Morristown problem. Obviously, that's a nationwide issue. But what we know we need is we need new affordable housing, and we need new high-quality affordable housing. So that's one of the things that we want to focus on in the future. That's a prong that I didn't mention that we want to see branch out. And obviously, we've got some work to do in terms of kind of developing that branch. But we are certainly prepared to slip into that role and to work with the town to create some new affordable housing opportunities. There really hasn't been any created that is project-based Section 8 or workforce affordable housing of a significant number in terms of that we own since, 1980 or so, since Ann Street was built. So we want to have a part in that solution.
So can you just clarify a couple things? The role that the board plays in the financial decision-making versus what the management company decision-making on finances? Because I was under the assumption the management company collects the rents and is responsible for expenditures and accounts payable.
Right.
And what's the board's role in that?
Well, the board, right now or in the future? Because right now.
Well, is it transitioning? Is
Yeah.
what you're saying, it's transitioning then?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, if you could explain that, that'd be
So there's not much of a difference, to be honest with you. So right now, forget RAD for a moment.
Okay.
Right now, we put together a budget internally, the staff. We provide that budget to the board to be provided to HUD and to the state. The board comments on that budget and then ultimately, we modify it accordingly, and then the budget is ultimately submitted to the state and to HUD for approval. The private management company will go through a similar process. They put their budget together based on revenue that they anticipate coming in, which is very predictable because they know how much the value of each Section 8 voucher is. They know how much each tenant is scheduled to pay. And so they know how much revenue coming in. They put their budget together. They'll provide their budget to us. We then review it, make sure we're comfortable with it, and I present it then to the board. The board, that's the we review it. The board reviews it, and ultimately, when everyone's comfortable with it on our end, we say to the management company, we're comfortable. We still provide the budget to the state because we have to, still the housing authority, and then the year proceeds.
Okay. Can you explain, you said RAD's underway, and you've converted. What's the conversion? You're saying part of it's converted and part's not, so does that mean part of it's under the management company and part is not now?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we're still in high.
One entity's there's two entities collecting rents?
Yes.
Okay. So, so you report to, your contract is held by the board, and the board makes all the decisions about your future and your contract? Or is that going to be done by the management company when it's fully converted?
So the management company works for us.
Okay.
I don't work for the management company.
Okay.
I work for the board and the housing authority. The management company is no different than any other entity or contractor that we've hired. They've got a bigger role, but it's where I came from before at Newark. Our Section 8 department was privatized. They worked for us. Our HR department was privatized. They worked for us. This is a property management entity that's privatized. They work for us. It's a little different because obviously we've got a developer that we're partnering with that private management company ultimately works for also, but their contract is with us. And that's why we have the ability to hire and fire and do those things. But I don't work for the management company. I work for the board.
So the board decides your contract?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have a question. What's HUD's role in their role now once the conversion happens? Because I know that that there is a representative for each town, right? And so I'm just curious to know, is it just, because I know you mentioned getting funding from them, but what else?
So HUD's role now and then is very, very similar. Okay. Yes, we receive all of our funding from HUD, all the subsidy money for all of these units. We still are regulated by HUD in terms of HUD devised RAD. RAD is 100% created by HUD. So the rules associated with how we manage come from HUD. But in many regards, it doesn't divert much from what it was before. Because again, HUD is many things, right? They're Ginnie Mae, they're FHA, CDBG, all of the home, but they're also public housing and Section 8. They've always been, since 75, Section 8, and before that, public housing. So they have a set of regulations associated with Section 8. We just happen to before be in both of those columns. Now we're going to exclusively be in one column. And their role is still to regulate and fund us accordingly.
Keith, just one follow-up question. The ability and the amount of rent increases are now will be determined under full RAD under the Section 8 rules?
Correct.
So it's based on income now?
Yeah, well.
It will be based on income?
It's based the same way as it was before. It's based on income, 30% of your income, same way as it was in public housing.
Okay, so that doesn't change?
That doesn't change.
And the fluctuation in the amount that the private management company, that does not affect the amount that the tenants will pay?
Correct.
Thank you.
I just have a quick question. What proprietary information, as far as residents' rents and anything that's personally related or confidential for residents, what type of information does the chair and vice chair have access to?
The chair and vice chair do not have access to, by proprietary information, anything in the management realm. The information we would have would be the income of residents, their social security numbers, all of that type of stuff. Is that what you're referring to?
Right, like rents, what they're paying for rents, and, because I think that they do see, sign off on checks for like vouchers and what residents may be paying for rent. So is that still something that they'll have access to, or do they have access, or should they have access, I guess my question is.
They don't have access to that now.
Okay.
They haven't had access to that. Clearly, since I've been here, they haven't had access to that. They're not signing off on rent checks, because on the public housing side, there is no rent check. The rent comes from the tenant. On the Section 8 side, those checks are computer generated that go out. So they don't have access to that. What they do approve is they ultimately approve the bills list, but it really isn't residents. That's all the contractors that we're paying.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, just to piggyback off of what you were saying, that falls under the day-to-day aspect of the housing authority. So I just kind of briefly jotted down where it says they were never involved in the day-to-day aspect, so that falls underneath that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's my job, is to cut those checks and to review those things. And private information, that's all in the computer system. I really don't even look at that, even though I have a password to do so.
I only ask that because there's some residents who, may not, they hear day-to-day the involvement, but don't really understand what that means.
Right.
So these are questions that you hear, and you just kind of put it out there.
I guess it's very similar. Probably the best analogy is what this body does here. This body probably isn't going down at any point in time in the permitting office or any particular office and, getting involved in the actual work. However, clearly setting the policy of the town and those things. At least I don't think, that's what you guys may be. But and that's probably for those that may be listening that aren't here today. It's probably the best way to think about it is that separation of the policymakers, those that ultimately approve the budget, and those that actually have to go out and execute.
So will the management company have access to residents' private confidential information to determine the 30%, say?
Absolutely.
Okay, and they do not interact with the board and are not allowed to give out any information of that sort to the board?
No, the management company is like the property managers are to me right now, in a sense. The property managers report to me or my deputy director. The management company will report to me or my deputy director, not to the board.
I'm terribly sorry.
No, I'm terribly sorry. I did something wrong.
That wasn't intended for you.
It was timed perfectly then.
Well, I think that's my cue. Thank you very much for coming out. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Very knowledgeable.
Was that your way of closing the comments?
Yeah, I was like,
They should give him a 20-year contract. They should.
jabbed her and she.
I forgot to turn it off after the public hearing, that's all.
You guys should think about that. Really should.
Yeah, if we try to get into the day-to-day stuff, I get slapped by Jillian. She's like,
I try to get in the
Julia
day.
keeps us in line now.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
All right, moving on. Council liaison reports.
I'm happy to go first. From the Environmental Commission. So please mark your calendars. A townwide cleanup is scheduled for May 21st. So I've asked the administration to ensure sign-ups are available in both English and Spanish. We did have a large Spanish contingency, and I want to make sure that they have the information and are well-informed in Spanish as well. Additionally, the MEC is going to be collaborating with Clean Communities to get the word out on the upcoming plastic bag ban, as well as how they can assist the partnership in educating the public.
When is the ban?
May.
That's the beginning of May.
May 4th, I believe.
But there is going to be a 3-month grace period.
Councilman, did you just mention that you're going to work with the partnership?
Clean Communities and partnership.
Okay.
Has the MEC ever thought about doing a townwide compost area? I've just been seeing it online a lot because there's a lot of know, residents and buildings that we don't get to garden or anything
I know
and
that
contribute, so.
Yeah, I know that the
something you guys
MEC
can
in the
talk
past
about.
has engaged with the partnership about composting, and it wasn't well received.
No. We did meet with the administration recently about that, so that's in discussion.
Nice.
Great.
Nice.
I'll report from the Parking Authority. Parking is free on Parade Day from 10 to 6 in the garages. We're encouraging everybody to park in the garages and do not take up resident street parking if possible. Because, you know, there's metered parking also that you could park at, but we're just encouraging everybody to use the garages if possible, keep everybody in there.
What times?
From 10 to 6, it's free in all the garages.
For all those 70,000 people that are
It's
coming.
70,000. Or now 10,000 people with the rain.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Move both closer. I don't have any current updates, but I would like to encourage the community to attend Shade Tree meetings. They are the third Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. I'd especially like residents of the Jersey Ave and especially Cottage to attend, because we're going to be working there soon regarding the forestry over there. And so I would like them to, you know, just get some updates by attending. And it's open to anyone who wants to know more about the Shade Tree Commission. You're very welcome to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Morristown Partnership meets tomorrow morning for their March meeting. However, just a reminder that self-nomination applications for the Morristown Partnership Board of Trustees are due on Friday, March 25th. You can call 973-455-1133 for more information. Thank you.
Just a question, are all the meetings in person, or are they Zoom, or, you know, you're like, the-
Are we in person now?
Shade Tree's
Yes.
in person.
I believe Shade Tree's in person.
EC is Zoom.
MEC is still Zoom, and the planning and zoning boards are still Zoom.
Partnership is meeting in person, and they have the Zoom option. Their meeting
MHA is
tomorrow at 10
meeting
a.m.
on Zoom, and I asked them, and they say that they're waiting for your direction to move. That's what they say? We're waiting for Jillian's direction.
Yeah, so that was
Boy,
my
talk
que-
about passing the buck.
Person.
That was my next question. You know, planning board, zoning board, is that decided by the boards?
The board,
bylaws,
their board will decide, and our board will decide.
Yeah, right.
Once the executive order's lifted, does zoning and planning have to go back in person? They don't, okay.
Nope.
Oh, the board decides.
I don't even think some councils are still Zooming. You don't have to go back to
Some councils
person.
never Zoom.
As the lawyer said, I'm correct. Yes, sir.
All right,
Maybe the
that's that.
future.
Let's
Is your
move
thought
on.
is your thought there, Stefan, that we should encourage open meetings again, public meetings?
Well, I think that, you know, at the planning and zoning board, there's a significant benefit to the public to be able to call in. You know, you can really hear better. You can see all the equipment better, all the displays better. I personally like to be in a room with people when I'm you know, asking questions and looking at body language and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, so I think the hybrid is ideal in my view, but I'm not in a position to.
No, by law, the boards make their own call.
Yeah.
Council or the government, we don't.
But I'm wondering, we seem to still struggle with the technology. Is there anything we can do to help with that?
We seem to be very
just-
successful on the planning board with the Zoom.
Yeah, I think the technology, I agree with you. I think watching those is helpful because you can see the exhibits better. But the concept of, you know, again, community and public meetings is important.
It is, but I don't think.
I think having the option for people, but I think the key to the option isn't taking away the hybrid, but making the hybrid more reliable and easier.
Yeah.
Even if it's one where you make the decision, where you come to the council meeting if you want to make comments, if you want to ask questions. But I think one of the things we did not catch up with over the years was this concept of having the meetings available. I know people can watch them online post the meeting, but things like other towns are continuing to publish planning board meetings. In a town like ours, where we have a lot of change going on, having those meetings actually available online, I think is a big benefit. But I think also having them live is also something that I think we deserve, that we owe to the public.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think to the degree that we have to make any further investment in making the hybrid a more stable platform, I think we should encourage that.
I would agree with that. I'm sure that we're not singling out Jillian because she had technical problems today.
Sure sounds like it.
No, I actually
Sure
think it's
sounds like it,
technology.
Jillian.
Well,
I
there are-
own the system.
I think
No,
Councilman
there's a lot of
Iannacone's pointing the finger.
No, not. There's a lot of systems out there now that are very easy to work with. I work with them every day. And for
So do we.
example, you can even install cameras in this room, totally programmed, and they just go on.
We can do anything with money.
Money, exactly, and that's where I'm going.
And you're going to get me that money.
And we're going to get to that. But seriously, I think, understanding the alternatives and the cost
Sure
of those
we do.
alternatives is important.
It's all about money, Bob.
Anything with enough
I
money.
think that, a compromise is if you want to come in and make a comment, then you got to come into the, in
That's what I was
person.
thinking, too.
And if you just want to listen in,
Yep.
it seems like the listening in is, we're not having any technical difficulties with the listening in. And so it seems like that may be easier. I don't know anything about it, but I'm sure the administration will work hard to.
So, in the interest of time, because I know it's
Yeah.
getting late, I'm happy to continue this conversation with the council president on behalf of the rest of the council, to kind of figure out how we can move forward on a permanent basis, both with this body as well as any of the other boards.
Don't forget you have a mayor here. Okay?
Yeah.
That was assumed.
Without saying.
All right. Just, you didn't mention me, so I thought maybe you were going to cut me out of the meeting.
You're like Siamese twins, so you don't have to.
No.
I'm turning my mic off now.
All right, moving on, ordinances.
Okay, we have one ordinance on the agenda for introduction, ordinance number O-6-2022, an ordinance rescinding an ordinance and deleting a designated handicap parking space on Liberty Street from Section 7-40.2 of the Code of the Town of Morristown.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 06-2022.
I'll second.
Any comments or questions? Okay, ordinance O-6-2020, roll call. On the introduction of ordinance O-6-2022, Councilwoman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Iannaccone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Councilman Umbreak?
Yes.
Council President Armington?
Yes.
Ordinance 6-2022 has been introduced properly by title and will be considered further after public hearing on March 22nd. There are two ordinances for public hearing and adoption. Ordinance number O-4-2022, an ordinance of the Town of Morristown amending and supplementing Chapter 30 Land Development Ordinance by modifying rooming house.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 04-2022.
I'll second.
At this time, I will open the floor for a public hearing on ordinance O-4-2022 only. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Any comments or questions from council? Okay, on the adoption of ordinance O-4-2022, Councilwoman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Iannaccone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Councilman Umbreak?
Yes.
Council President Armington?
Yes.
Ordinance 4-2022 is adopted. Ordinance number O-5-2022, an ordinance of the Town of Morristown amending and supplementing Chapter 30 Land Development Ordinance by modifying active use.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 05-2022.
I'll second.
At this time, I will open the floor for a public hearing on ordinance O-5-2022 only. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Any comments or questions from council?
Yes. Jillian, turn your mic back on. It's just some background on this. I found it interesting. I'm curious.
I think when we introduced the ordinance, I gave a brief comment back then, so I'll try to reiterate what I'd said then. So our existing code allowed for requires active ground floor uses in our downtown, which means that you want an active storefront, you want, active businesses and not somebody sitting behind a desk, right? But our existing ordinance has some language that allowed for, different types of uses, like, for example, what do you call it, like a rework space, which would be considered active floor use, even though it's not technically an active floor use, because the idea was that it was kind of a hybrid commercial use. Unfortunately, the way that our existing language is written, it resulted in unintended consequences because we've had some businesses in town use that as kind of a loophole to get a non-active use on a ground floor in the downtown, which is not consistent with the intent of the ordinance. So the ordinance before you, which has been vetted by the planning board, is just to revise that language so that we do not see that use of our ordinance being used for our downtown. So it maintains the existing integrity of what we were intending.
So the people who opted to use that loophole, are they grandfathered in, or does it now they have to convert to meet our?
Unfortunately, they were able to get a zoning permit under the existing ordinance.
Thank you.
Okay. On the adoption of ordinance O-5-2022, Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayer.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Councilman Umbriak.
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Ordinance O-5-2022 is adopted. There are 5 resolutions on the agenda for consideration this evening. Would any member of council like to pull any for separate
Can you
consideration?
pull R58?
Any others? I would ask.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution R56, R57, R59, and R60.
I'll second.
Okay. On that motion, Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilman Foster.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayer.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Councilman Umbriak.
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-58-2022, resolution awarding a contract to Planet Geo, Inc. to conduct an urban tree inventory of the publicly managed street and park trees in the town of Morristown, County of Morris, State of New Jersey.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution R58, 2022.
I'll second.
Councilwoman?
Sure. So this is really exciting. We have Shade Tree here, and we talked about this when I was on Shade Tree, that we're going to take our tree inventory. So I just have a question. Reading the RFP, I know Shade Tree has recommended that we go with this company in Colorado, and they're more than qualified. The consultant qualifications say that the forestry professional should be in New Jersey, and everything's noted with New Jersey. And I'm just wondering, are they going to sub this out to somebody in New Jersey that uses this program, that buys the use of the program, or are they having, I didn't see anybody employed in New Jersey on their website in Colorado. So are they allowed to sub it out, and do we have a say in who they sub it out to, or?
So this is a Shade Tree project, because this is a grant that was awarded by the Shade Tree, and they did the evaluation process. So I'm going to punt this question to Kristen Ace, the president of the Shade Tree Commission.
Hi, all the people who will be working in our town will be from New Jersey. All in the RFP, there should be the 3 people who would be in the town proper, and they've all worked in New Jersey.
So are they employees of the company, or they're subcontracting it out to these people, and you get to approve the people, or they're just they're hiring 3 people qualified in New Jersey to work with you, and do you have a say in that, or you don't?
No, they've already picked the people who they're putting in New Jersey.
Okay, all right. Sounds good.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay.
On the adoption of Resolution R-58-2022, Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilman Foster.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilman Mayer.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Councilwoman Umbriak.
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, that concludes the regular business. We have one item of unfinished business, gas-powered leaf blowers. As you know, I brought this up a couple of weeks ago. I reached out to my constituents and asked the council members from the respective first, second, fourth wards to do the same. Got a number of responses back. Overall, 75% of the responses would either like some some restriction or full prohibition, and, but, so I encourage additional input over the next couple of weeks. I did want to, I think I know that Montclair and Westfield and a bunch of other municipalities over the last few years have put in place seasonal restrictions on leaf blowers, and I'm curious what the rationale is from a legislative perspective in terms of exempting leaf blowers during those periods relative to not exempting other sources of nuisance noises, or if it's done through a separate section. I think like we did the time of day restrictions, I think is through the Police Powers Act or something like that, or the section of the code. So curious, what would be the rationale for exempting the leaf blowers from enforcement?
You asking us?
I'm not asking us. I'm
I think, I don't know, I have no clue what you're talking about, honestly.
I'm just putting that up as a question, legislatively, I'm assuming that this administration and every administration in the past has never enforced the noise ordinance relative to gas-powered leaf blowers. I think that's a fair assumption.
Well, I've done a little research, and it seems like the electric leaf blowers are pretty noisy, too.
They are, the electric ones, which are either use a cord or battery powered, range from 55 to 65 decibels. Gas-powered leaf blowers range from 65 to about 90 decibels. You might think that's not a big deal, but noise is logarithmically
So can I ask you a question?
added. So let me a leaf blower that is 65 decibels, which is relative to a leaf blower that is 55 decibels, is twice as loud. Yes, go ahead, Mayor.
What is 75, when you said 75% of the people responded were restricted?
No, 75% of the people either said that they wanted a total ban of leaf blowers, or they said they use leaf blowers. They really, in terms of gas-powered ones, they feel that they really need them in the fall. I think there's but the rest of the time they could use electric leaf blowers.
And how many people responded to that?
Only 40. I'm not suggesting that it's a representative thing. You all know me. I don't legislate by referendum. I was just looking for some input, and it would be very easy for a group of 100 people who are actively in favor of leaf blowers to reach out to me, and the number would switch. The challenge is that given the noise code currently, the operation of gas-powered leaf blowers violates the noise code. And so we need to exempt them. And how do we exempt them? And if we have to go down the route of exempting gas-powered leaf blowers, what's the rationale? There's no public safety, there's no health and welfare. You could argue, and some people, I think those municipalities have argued that research shows that the gas-powered leaf blowers that basically if you're going to use a leaf blower, gas or electric, electric leaf blowers don't have the power to push leaves in the height of leaf season. Can they blow dirt in the? Yes. And that's the basis for why those municipalities have put in place seasonal restrictions. Another big issue was enforcement. Well, we adopted New Jersey DEP model noise ordinance. 115 municipalities adopted. I couldn't find anything in any of those municipalities about enforcing leaf blowers, so it's essentially, it's a statewide exemption, white elephant, we couldn't possibly exempt them. The challenge I'm having is, we prohibited, bars and clubs from doing things for the purposes of preserving noise, but gas-powered leaf blowers emit the same or more noise, and so it presents a challenge from a legislative perspective.
I got to disagree with you when you make the analogy that you pass a noise ordinance for bars, and that reasoning was because of the quality of life for people at night, late at night, in those concentrated areas. With leaf blowers, it's the same as a snow blower. You're going to regulate a snow blower when it snows. You're going to use a shovel. You can't use a snow blower anymore. I mean, that's where that. Well, let me finish. You had the floor. Let me finish. So, and I totally get where you're going environmentally with the electric blowers and all that stuff. However, take into consideration when you start regulating and legislating the use of what someone wants to use in their home between the hours of 9 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, that if you go down the road where you start mandating that you can't use gas mowers anymore, gas blowers, that the cost of people that have their lawns serviced, which is a lot of people, now will pay hundreds of dollars or more for people to have to use battery-packed or electric blowers, because you're right, you can't move those leaves in the fall. It's not going to happen. And people like to keep their yards meticulous. This is something that this country's always had. People like to keep their yards pristine. I just think that you're going to get to a point where you over-legislate. And I think you were right on the track the last meeting when you said, the hours of this to this is what you regulate during the day, and I agree with you. Same with construction. You don't want somebody using nail guns at 7 o'clock in the morning when you're just getting up and making your coffee or just getting ready to go. It's 9 o'clock start on the weekends, 8 o'clock start during the week, 4 o'clock ends. Nobody wants that, and I experienced this with Councilwoman Mayer at 4 in the afternoon, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a time you cut off for people to have a quality of life in the afternoons, on the weekends during the spring, summer, and fall. Winter time's a little different. You're obviously not using a blower, but it's snow blowers. They're loud too. Mine's pretty loud.
Snow blowers are exempt.
Right.
And
so
that was my point.
Right, and I think that's the track you were on a couple weeks ago.
Because of safety issues, how do we, knowing I mean, there's a body of evidence put out by the CDC that talks about, gas-powered leaf blowers are basically a source of hearing damage. And so whether or not we go into the depths of that, how do we exempt leaf blowers?
I think it's almost like the same as your construction. You just,
Stefan, I think
Well, we don't exempt.
Well, you do have regulations
I
on
actually think what
construction.
both of you are saying is kind of the same thing. I think the mayor's pointing out, we want to exempt leaf blowers, and it's a matter of degree. And the first degree is limitation of hours, okay? The second question is do you want to take it any further than that? And that's what you're talking about.
That's the question.
Right, right.
But I think that at least we can start on the common platform that we want to exempt them because people in our kind of environment, they want to use leaf blowers. And I think no one's going to disagree with us that there's hours. I've gotten calls from my neighbors because my people came too early in the morning, and they were absolutely right, okay? And they were right. They should have called me, you know what I mean? And that's a good thing. And because a lot of it is going to boil down to neighborly enforcement, and that's what we're hoping is going to happen. But that being said, I think that we can do this. I think what you're pointing out is to what degree do we want to take it beyond the limitation of hours?
Right.
And I think what we should all do, again, is let's talk around amongst the neighbors and see what they think. And because, you know, for some people, their leaf blower is king on weekends, you know? So you got to be careful. But let's talk to people and let's find out, do you want to take it any further than that to actually limit the noise during the hours that they're permitted? And I think that's the question we're asking.
I could already tell you that I've gotten many
Well,
emails.
no, let's leave the discussion because then, because it's.
No, I'm just gonna say this real quick, that I've gotten many emails, and Stefan has them all, that ban them oh my, that's it. And
I
then
just
I've
want
had
to make
some
one
people
comment.
are like, well, I just don't like them when I want to barbecue at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday when I get home from work, and my neighbors are making a lot of ruckus. So it's a big, we have a spectrum of people that are for a complete ban, and then we have a spectrum of, because already spectrum people, can you just be courteous?
Yeah.
And you have to figure out the way to just, with times, I think, of just, because, the ideal situation is you really just mulch the leaves with a lawnmower and leave them on your lawn because it's really good for the environment, but nobody's buying into that. It'd be a great idea, but it really is good for the, environment.
This week, I spoke with a couple of owners of landscaping companies, and you mentioned couple towns. Those landscapers have dozens of clients on those 2 towns, and today they're running in a big problem because the ban. Because they said our schedule is going to be behind because they cannot start at the appointed date. And the clients start calling, and those clients didn't even know that it was a recent legislation about that. So now it's creating a mess. So we have to be careful because people want their lawns pristine and all that. And I think ours is important, whether for a company or for the person that does his or her own landscaping.
So we'll just,
Getting research.
You know what, Stefan, we'll send you some stuff down from the administration we think is a good idea and see if you like it. And, I think maybe we can come to a common solution.
that's good.
Because I don't think banning
gonna be
leaf
twice a
blowers
year.
is the solution.
No, I don't think that.
Kill a big
saying
industry.
Well, it's not that. I get it, they're not exempt, and I get there's nothing in there that allows them.
Right.
The whole idea of the noise ordinance.
Right, yeah.
So I get where you're coming from, but I think there's a way to find a solution on a common, like Bob said, on a common platform.
All right, moving on, new business, there's a nomination of council vote of the commissioner's appointment to the Housing Authority.
Yes, I will now open the floor to council nomination for a commissioner appointment to the Morristown Housing Authority to an unexpired term ending September 5th, 2023.
I'd make a nomination of Derek Harris McCoy.
I second.
Council President, I'd like to table this. I think that we just heard from Mr. Kennard. I think there's a lot of questions that still we need time to digest. We need time to discuss further. I think we've, just speaking from the Housing Authority perspective, because I served on the Housing Authority for 2.5 years, in 3 years we had 4 or 5 different commissioners that either didn't meet the educational requirement, didn't show up to meetings. I want to make sure that we appoint the right person with the right qualifications. I wrote down a lot of notes. I already spoke to all 4 candidates. I want to go back and discuss with them further based on a lot of the feedback that we received today.
I would actually agree with Nathan on this, too. I had interviewed all 4 candidates, but I think Keith Kennard was very good tonight, did a lot of clarifications. And what my concern about with the selection was making sure that we have somebody on there that can actually do the job. And I think the job has changed a little bit. It's not so much on the advocacy side now, where it is that financial enforcement of the rights we have under the RAD and having the right person that can actually help the board handle that, because I think that's the representation that might be necessary.
Well, I think I'm going to kind of disagree because, I think I'm just going to put out on the record that I don't understand why every time it comes to the vote for the Morristown Housing Authority, it has to be such a controversial vote. We have to go through all of these dynamics, selecting the right people, the criteria, when other boards, we don't do that. When the appointment is up, when somebody's term expires, we go through whatever applications we have, and we pick the ones that we feel is best qualified. I think that this is like the 3rd time that an appointment has come up for the Housing Authority, and we have to do so much due diligence when we do not do that for any other boards. It's starting to really get really bothersome for me because it seems like we're not being fair. We're not being transparent because we do not do that for any other board. These people have applied. We've had enough time to interview them. I think we have enough information about the candidates, and I think that we need to just take a vote.
We've had 6 weeks to call these people. If you didn't get all the information, whatever was clarified, why wasn't it clarified by whatever Mr. Kennard said? I think it really did clarify what we're looking for. I know what I'm looking for is somebody who advocates for residents, because right now, we have one person who's a resident commissioner, and the other people don't really interact with the residents that we know of. I know I've spoken to Councilwoman Cotton about this, and she feels, well, she could speak for herself, and also Councilwoman Foster, that we're looking for somebody who's going to be there for the residents. There's a lot of people that I think the fact that we have a management company now that is really handling the budget, that has taken the board out of that part of it, was a big indication to me that you don't really need a financial person as much as you need somebody who's going to be there to stand up for what is going on. Because I know I talked to people in senior housing a couple weeks ago, and they feel like they have no voice. There's nobody in their building, they have no voice, and they want somebody who's going to go to a meeting and say something for them. That's what I got out of, and when I spoke to the people that I interviewed, I had one person who said that to me. One person said, I just want more housing for people coming out of prison. One person didn't return my call, and the other person left a message saying that they'd get back to me, and they didn't. So that was the interest level that I got.
I just think that it's very unfair, and it's really starting to put a stain, because we don't do this for any other board. When there's an appointment for the Board of Adjustment or appointment for Parking Authority, we do not go through all of this. We make the appointment. So it's starting to seem like there's some kind of, I don't know if it's underhanded, I don't know if it's, people's personal agendas, but it's really not showing that we're being transparent.
Or an agenda for somebody
Well,
else.
first off, let me comment. Okay, I don't think there's any personal agendas going on.
Well, you can think, but I'm just
I may
saying.
not know other things you know. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. Okay, I'm fine with putting the vote on tonight, okay? Because the qualifications I'm looking for after listening to Mr. Kennard this evening was just what he said. You're talking about financial, legal, policy, and property management. Those are the three, and I know other people on the authority. I do think that we need to bring somebody with financial prowess and/or legal prowess onto that committee, onto that commission. So I would actually nominate Mr. McPherson for the position.
So we're saying.
Want to go forward with the vote? That's fine. Let's do the vote.
Mr. McPherson serves on 2 boards already. Do we
That's a-
really want to
that's a
keep
good point.
appointing?
Maybe what you
No,
wanna say.
it's time that we stop appointing the same people to the same boards over and over.
What, you
To multiple boards. She's saying in general.
You're
It's in-
looking right at me,
it's in
talking to
general.
me.
No, that's us.
No, we're just talking amongst
Okay,
ourselves.
I just wanted to let you know, I don't have a voice in this.
Yeah, I just want to say that, so there's 6 other members on this
This is a good
board.
discussion. Let's keep it
There's,
civil.
absolutely, there's
It's a good
6.
discussion. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. So there's 6 other members who have had reappointments, and they've gone through all the trainings. So, just like they had the opportunity to go through these trainings, and I don't think they came with all this experience, so I don't think that suddenly now, that should be a huge issue. They will have to go through the trainings, and if by chance another member decides they don't want to be up there or whatever's going on, you have 7 members on this board, not currently, but overall, it's 7 members on the board. So I don't understand.
Mr. Zohimi, I'm sorry, I don't know her last name. Zohimi was nominated, I didn't hear any of this. She has no qualifications for financial, legal.
She's in law school.
That's not what was brought up when we were voting. You weren't there. That was not what was brought up.
I was a commissioner.
Right, but you weren't voting on this council.
No,
What was-
I think
But
we're
you're missing
getting.
a point,
we're- we're-
Nathan.
we're-
Excuse me, I wasn't done speaking, Nathan. Excuse me. What I'm saying was,
All right, let's
No,
shut
but-
it down. There are nominations on the board. Mr. McPherson has been nominated, Mr. Harris has been nominated. Are there any other
There was no
additional
second on
nominations?
Mr.
You don't need a second for nominations.
Any other nominations? Okay, on the nomination of Mr. Harris McCoy, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster,
Yes.
Councilman Iannaccone,
No.
Councilman Mayer,
yes.
Councilman Silva,
No.
Councilman Umbriak,
No.
Council President Armington.
No.
On the nomination of Mr. McPherson, Councilwoman Cotton,
No.
Councilwoman Foster,
No.
Councilman Iannaccone,
Yes.
Councilman Mayer,
No.
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
Councilman Umbriak,
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes. All right.
With that vote, Mr. McPherson is hereby appointed as a commissioner to the Morristown Housing Authority to an unexpired term ending September 25th, 2023.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.